everybody, I'm Corinne Blackstone and welcome to my craft room. I am so happy to have you here today. Today's tutorial, we're going to be doing something really fun, but before we get started, make sure that you're following me over on Instagram. I post lots of fun tips, tricks, and hacks over there, so you don't want to miss out. Now in today's video, we are going to learn how we can take and fill in any font or any image using our Cricut and the pens. This is such an easy little hack, and I'm really surprised that I haven't done a video on this yet, but truly this is one of the best ways to fill in any font. You don't have to use a writing font, you don't have to use a really thin font. You can see this is a really thick font, and then I made this little strawberry as well to show you that you can also use this when you're drawing images. So this is a great way to really utilize what your Cricut can do and some of those Cricut features to work in your favor. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start with the font first, and then we'll do the image next. This is going to be a super quick tutorial because this is so easy, and I don't know why I've never done a tutorial on it because I do this all the time. But if you ever want to fill in your text for writing, there is a really easy way to do this. What I'll do is I'm going to do a couple different versions of text for this, but I'll just use my first name for all of them just so you can kind of get an idea of what it looks like. So the first thing that I need to do is choose whatever font I want to use. So I want to use a system font, and we're going to draw this. So I'm going to choose a couple of different system fonts for this, but I'll show you the first one really quick. Let's use this Barbie font because this one's pretty cool. And what's fun about it is actually pretty thin, but I'm going to make it really big. I'm going to take up pretty much the whole screen with it so you can really see what's happening when we do this. The first thing that I need to do is I want to select my text and I want to change my operation to pen. Now you'll notice here that each of our letters has this little section that goes into the other letters. We can simply remove that by just going under Combine and choosing Weld. That's going to make all of our lines flow just a lot smoother when we go to do this hack. Now what I want you to do is go up to offset, and you're actually going to use what's called an inset or a negative offset. And I like to do a negative 0.01. Now click apply, and what you're going to see is that it looks a little bit thin, right? Like you don't really see anything. But when you look over in your layers panel, you'll see now that you have this additional offset piece and your lines look a little bit thicker. Now I want you to click offset again and simply just click apply again. Now do you see how the line's getting thicker? Keep clicking offset and apply over and over again until you start to see this filling in. Now, because this is so large, it might take it a minute to actually start to really look filled in. But do you see how much thicker that outside line is getting? All we have to do is just add a ton of these little insets into our font. Now you can see over here where it's almost fully filled in, and then like here with the thinner spots, it's really starting to fill in. So I'm going to go ahead and continue to click this offset apply button. And as I do that, you're going to see that it's going to fill in and fill in. Now it's probably going to take a lot of offsets to fill this in, but really you could just kind of keep clicking and it'll fill in. So now that you've got it pretty well filled in, you'll see you do have a few spaces with gaps. What I want you to do is just kind of click where that gap is and then just continue to fill those in with offsets. Sometimes it depends on the font, but some of them get a little bit funny with the offset. So like right here, this little section of the R might be a little more difficult to get it to fill in because for whatever reason, it's just going to be a little bit wonky when we click the offset option. So you may just constantly have to be sitting here and clicking this, but also it's a little tiny spot. It's not that big. So what's nice about it is that once this draws, you can very easily fill in your entire design if you've got little gaps here and there, which that can happen. but I want to kind of pull this out so you can kind of see. Do you see how it's not actually like every letter? There's like spots where it's not, you know, actually sitting. That's just because eventually the offset gets so small that it can't exist in some of those areas. I'm going to click undo just because I don't want to move that. So we filled this in pretty well. Now what I want you to do is I want you to select all and I want you to attach it. That's just going to tell Design Space not to move anything and that we want everything in the same place. Now I'm going to go ahead and size this down quite a bit because obviously we don't need to do it that big. But once it's a little bit smaller, you can see that it looks a little more filled in. You'll still probably have to fill in little spots, but that's okay. So now I want to show you another like version of text. We're going to use a little bit more of a simple text here. Let me just find one that's kind of plain and nothing too crazy with it. That way we can use it so you can see kind of how it looks. We'll use this one. This one's kind of cute, this chalk 9. And again, I'll just do my name. So again, we'll just make it really big so you can see. And this one's pretty fun. It's got little hearts in it. I just think it's a cute one. Again, all we have to do is go to pen. And then you can just go to offset and it should already save that offset for you. And then just click apply. Now we're again just going to click apply until this is fully filled in. So again, you don't need to watch this. This is the same situation. And I'll do a couple more different fonts just so you can get an idea of kind of what the different fonts are going to look like when you've done this process. All right, we have 3 different versions. That way you can kind of get an idea. Now, what we can do is we can actually take and make sure that all of our offsets and things are all the same color for each word. It doesn't matter what color you choose up here. It just matters what color you load into your machine for your pen. So I'm just going to make this one red just so it's easy to tell the difference. Then I'm going to choose this one and I'm going to make this one, I don't know, let's just pick like kind of a greenish color. And then this one we'll make like purple or pink or something. And I want to write them in different colors so that you can kind of see the different look that you're going to get. We'll just go with this blue. Now what's great about this is you can do this with any color. You can do this with the different pens. You can use the pens that I use in my adapters for this. Really easy to do. I'm going to go ahead and make sure I save my project because this was a lot of work. I'm just going to save it as Corinne Wright. That way I kind of know what it's for. And then I'm going to hit make so you can see what that looks like over on your like canvas or on your mat. We're just going to write these on some white cardstock. We're not going to do anything crazy, but I just want you guys to see what this looks like while it's writing. But I also want you to see what it looks like on our page here. That way you can get an idea of how it should look when you go to do this, because this honestly is very, very simple. It seems a little more complicated than it really, really is. Now this part might take a little while to load because it is a lot of information for Design Space to handle. Now you'll notice that it lined it up a little bit funny. This one's kind of going into the red, so I am going to just manually move these a little bit. Design Space has been a little bit funny about moving stuff, so if it kind of jerks it around a little bit, just give it a second. But we're just going to be using an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, so this should be just fine. This will fit. I don't really care where they're spaced out since all I'm doing is showing you how to do this. But obviously you can easily space them out doing, you know, attached to a square or whatever you want to do if you're writing like an invitation. So this is what they should look like. Now it is going to prompt us to change the pen colors for each of the names, but that way you can see what it looks like in the different colors rather than just doing it in black. And keep in mind, it's not perfect. You might have a few gaps, but you can easily just color those in and it will look just fine. So let's head over to the machine. I'll show you how to load the pens and we'll get these all written out so you can see how cool they look. Just a quick pop in from editing Corinne. I just want to let you know that we are not going to do all 3 of these. I did at one point think about it, but that's going to take forever. So I'm just going to do one, but it's done the same way. So don't be like weirded out when you see that I only write one in black. And don't worry, we have something else coming that's going to show you how to do multiple colors. We're going to be working with our text and our filled text. So we're going to be using the 0.4 tip black from Cricut. What I like to do is I put my pen cap on the back of my pen. That way it doesn't go missing. You're going to open clamp A. Put your finger under the clamp just over the edge here. And then put your pen in until it clicks. Once you hear the click, it's in, and you can just go ahead and close clamp A. Now I'll link below some videos where I use other pens with my Cricut as well. That way you can see there are other options. I'm gonna go ahead and load this, get this started, and then it's gonna go ahead and write out our name. Now this does take a little while, so we're gonna speed it up, but I'll let you know how long it takes. Now that it's done, I'm gonna go ahead and unload this. Now, like I said, you are gonna have a few little spaces, but they're so small, they're easy to fill in, so gotta take my pen out. You're gonna take your pen and you can just easily go through and fill in any of those little spots that might be kind of noticeable. There's not, like I said, there's not a lot of them. This is not a perfect fix to filling in fonts, but it definitely makes a huge difference. Now I'm going to leave this sheet of paper on our mat here because we are going to do an image as well. So I'm going to take you over to Design Space and show you how easy this is to work with an image to create the same effect where it's going to fill that image in. Now that I've shown you that you can fill in a font, I also want to show you that you can actually do this with an image as well, and it's really easy. So I just grabbed a strawberry image off of Design Space, but you can really do any design that you want. Now the first thing that I want to do is I'm going to ungroup my image by clicking those two little squares over here, and that's going to give us the two separate pieces. Now what I want to do is I'm going to change both of those over to pen. So we're just going to choose pen. Now I do want to make sure that I choose a color of my pen, so I'm just going to do red and we'll just do green. Now it's important that you do choose your pen color before you start doing your offsets. That way it's going to know that you're doing your offsets in the same color. Now what I'm going to do is click on offset again, just like I did last time. And remember, we're going to use an inset of 0.01. That's our inset size. So you want to make it negative 0.01. Now I accidentally clicked a little too far and that'll happen. So I'm just going to go negative 0.01, hit enter. And now you'll see that we have this little inset. So I'm going to click apply. Now, one thing I'm going to point out to you is that pen is going to, again, be black. So, or midnight. Sometimes it just defaults. So what I like to do is I just make sure to change it to red. And sometimes it'll stay and other times it won't. And that's okay if it doesn't. We can fix it later. But what I'm going to do is just keep doing those insets. And I did it just like I did when I did the writing. So you'll see here that it's going to start to turn black. That's okay. We'll fix it. I'm not really worried about it, because it's easy to fix. So we're just going to keep clicking apply again, just like you did when you made your font. So I'm going to go ahead and speed up this applying part, and then as soon as we're finished with this part, I'll show you how to do the top too. Once you have the whole thing done, go ahead and select it all, and I want you to attach it. And then from here, it's easier to change that color of the pen. So that's one thing I will tell you. Now, I accidentally grabbed the bounding box, so I'm going to just click undo. I absolutely hate that stupid thing. It's such a pain because sometimes you'll accidentally grab it and it's not what you want to do. So anyways, I'm going to grab everything that's in this attach, and then I just want to make sure to change that pen color over to red. That's just going to make everything red. Now again, just like with the font, you may have some little holes that you'll need to fill in, but it's so much easier than filling in the whole thing. And then we're going to do the same thing here for the green one. And again, they're probably all going to come out black, but that's okay. We'll just do the same thing. So again, just click apply until your green top is filled in. So again, once you have everything done, select it all and attach it. And then you can easily change that color of your pen. It's just a lot easier when you do it that way. Works really well. Doesn't matter what color you choose. I'm just going to pick dark green, but it only matters what color pen you put in. Now, the next important step is to line these back up. And you're going to see you'll probably have a little bit of overlap. That is completely normal, but also it might be because I accidentally didn't hit undo on something when I messed with the sizing. So it's fine. If they don't line up perfectly, I'm totally okay with it. But you can see they're kind of not gonna. So I can always kind of mess with this a little bit and see if I can get it to line up better. But like I said, I think some of it's because I hit that like, I don't know what's it called, the sizing, because see how like I can size it. I really wanted to turn this a little bit and see if I could just turn it a smidge. But again, I don't really care if they overlap a little. It's totally fine. It is what it is. We're just doing this to show you how to do it. So then all I want to do is I'm going to select both of these items. And the next thing I want to do is I'm going to attach them again. Now, unlike when you attach when you're doing like a cut, it won't change everything the same color. It will keep the pens the correct color. Now I am going to make this significantly smaller because otherwise this is probably going to take like 100 years to draw. So I am just going to make this about 3 inches. I think that's totally fine. Let's go ahead and save this because we did do a lot of work for it. So we're going to call it Draw Strawberry. That way I know what it is and I know what I did with it. And then I'm going to show you what it looks like on this Make It screen, just like I did with the font, because I think it's kind of cool and this works so well. It's really easy to do. So once you get to this Make It screen, you're going to see that you can move this just like you could with any other like design on the Make It screen. Now here you can move your strawberry anywhere that you want to on your screen, just like you could with any other design. Now, Design Space is being a little bit weird and glitchy today, but I can definitely just move this around. Like you'll see, it's kind of bouncing around. So if you had somewhere specific on your page, you wanted to write it or whatever, you can do that. We're just going to draw this on some white cardstock. So I'll just go ahead and leave it in the upper corner, just so that, you know, we're not wasting a lot of material. But I'm just going to draw this on some white cardstock. Super easy to do, really, really simple. So let's go ahead over to the machine and I'm going to show you how to load the 2 different color pens since we're using 2 different colors. It will prompt you to change your color and I'll show you that. Now for this one, we're going to be using the red and green pens. So the first pen we're going to load is the red and your Make It screen will actually tell you what pen to load. So I'm using 0.4 point pens for all of these. I'm just going to load it like I did the black, put my finger under and push till it clicks. Once it clicks, close that clamp. Now, like I said, we're just going to use that same piece of paper, and I'm going to go ahead and load this in. It's going to draw our red. Once it's done drawing the red portion, you're going to see that it is going to flash again, and it's going to have us load in the green pen next, but the Cricut will tell you exactly when to do that. So once it finishes with the red, you'll see that your Cricut light over here is blinking. And on your screen, it will tell you to change over to your green pen. So you just simply take out your red. You want to make sure that you, of course, put the cap back on. You don't want the pen to dry out. And then we're going to do our green. Now, I haven't written with the green in a while, so I just want to make sure it's writing. And all I'm going to do is, again, just install the green pen. Put it in until it clicks, and then go ahead and close that and hit the Cricut button. Now it's going to draw the green portion of the strawberry. Now that our strawberry is done, I'm going to go ahead and take my pen out before I unload. I always do that just so I don't forget. And then I'm going to go ahead and unload this. Now I'm going to get you guys a better view so that you can really see how good these both came out. So let's go over that way. First, I want to show you how good the name came out. I think this really looks good. And like I said, you can do this with any font. Ignore that little green. That little green is where I just tested to make sure the green marker worked. But I think it looks really, really good. It's super nicely filled in. The edges are super clean. I'm really, really pleased with how this one worked. And you saw how easy it was to fill in any font. And our little strawberry came out so good too. Remember, I couldn't line the top up quite right because I accidentally messed with something, and it's fine. It still looks really good. You've got a little spot right here where there's a little white, and then it does overlap a bit, but I still think it looks really good. It looks nice and filled in. So this is a great way that you can use your Cricut to fully fill in fonts or images, which I think is fantastic. This is going to save you so much time, so much effort. Now, I did say I would tell you how long this took. So this one took about 15 minutes. And the name, which is over here, this one took about 6 minutes. So it's not super long. If you were gonna do something that had a lot of writing or coloring in, it would take a long time. But I think if you're just doing a couple, it's perfect. Now, if you guys have any questions about this or any of the other things we do here on the channel, let me know in those comments down below. I'm always happy to answer those for you. I hope you all have a wonderful day. And as always, happy crafting.